If you find yourself on the 15 freeway in Utah and you're looking for adventure, you should definitely check out the Tabernacle Hill Lava Tubes. To get there, you will be driving on about 7.3 miles of dirt roads. These are, however, maintained with just little bits of washboard here and there. You won't need a high-clearance vehicle to get to the lava tubes as long as you head back out the same way. If you continue on past Tabernacle Hill, the road gets extremely rough. One nice thing is that you don't have to worry about getting lost because you can put Tabernacle Hill Lava Tube directly into your GPS. Once you see the large lava tuft that is directly in front of us, you know that you've arrived. This area is absolutely massive, and we aren't even going to pretend that we explored every single lava tube here. We will be starting off our adventure to heading to the collapse that is just west of the parking area. There are actually 2 tubes in this collapse, but we will be heading to the one on the west end. If you plan on checking out these lava tubes, we highly recommend bringing not only grippy shoes and a flashlight because you're going to be going quite a ways underground, and 2 other recommendations that we have are a helmet and gloves. This was a bit of a spontaneous stop for us, so we didn't pack ours. There are no shortage of low ceilings in the caves, especially the one that we are just about to go into, and lava rock is extremely sharp, so if you hit your head, chances are you're going to end up with a nice little cut on your head. While these tubes may not date all the way back to the time of the dinosaurs, they are still believed to be somewhere between 14,500 and 16,000 years old. This is the longest continuous underground tube that we found here. While many of the other tubes have skylights or other features that let some light in, certain sections of this tube are going to be pitch black. After that last tight squeeze, we saw the light at the end of the tunnel and we figured that was it. That is until V shined her flashlight over to the left side and we saw more tunnels. Things are going to be getting a little bit tighter here. I wouldn't quite say claustrophobia inducing, but you will definitely need to watch your head. You may be wondering how these tubes are formed, and I am definitely not a geologist, but here's what I've gathered from my research. As the lava flows through these channels, the outer edges of the flow come in contact with the cool earth and harden. The rest of the flow continues since it is going downhill, and once it empties out, it leaves these tunnels. This part of the cave had some really cool formations, including rocks like this that look almost like flowy fabric, and also other rocks that must have some iron in them because they were bright red. Towards the end of the cave, we came to a section that I wasn't quite sure that I could fit in, so V continued on ahead. Here she met a friendly little bat before the cave got so small that even she couldn't fit, so she turned around and headed back. Overall, I would definitely say that this first tube was quite a bit more extensive than either of us thought it was going to be. Once we got back to the junction, we made a left to go out the light at the end of the tunnel. If you are short on time, just know that there are no tubes on this second collapse that you can get into. There are some smaller pockets, but nothing too major. We emerged from the ground about 82 yards away from the opening that we went into. This is a much bigger collapse than the first one, and it is really pretty here. This is especially cool if you like landscape photography because you have the contrast of the yellow brush versus the black lava rock. These are the kinds of pockets that I mentioned that you could find here. It's nothing huge, but if you have the time, it's still worth checking out. It takes a very special type of lava to create the tubes like the ones that you will find here. Basaltic lava behaves like liquid asphalt. It's hot, runny, and able to travel long distances. If the lava was thick, like the kind that you find at explosive volcanoes, tubes wouldn't form. Instead, you would get domes, blocky flows, or ash. We have now climbed out of the second collapse and headed back towards the first one. We were just about to jump back in to get to that second tube when we noticed this absolutely tiny lava tube. There was absolutely no chance that I was going to fit in there, but she did it just fine. After that, we headed back into the first collapse. The first time we went in right here, but this time we are going to head over to the other side. If you like exploring spots like this, you definitely have to check out our video about the 𝐻𝐿 Cave. While it is not made out of lava, it is an absolutely incredible experience, and it's a must-do if you're up in northern Nevada. I'm not exactly sure why, but someone had left a lot of wood in this second lava tube. I don't know if they're planning to come back for a bonfire or something. But either way, please be sure to be respectful and clean up after yourself when you're visiting spots like this. This is the longest and darkest tube in this section, and as you can see, it doesn't get too dark until you get towards the end. From here on out, you are going to need to be extremely careful because we aren't going to be on a dirt surface anymore. We're pretty much going to be going from boulder to boulder. Some of these boulders are held firmly in place while others roll right out from under you when you step on them. As I mentioned before, lava rock is very sharp, so falling on these would not be very much fun. One thing that's kind of interesting about this area is that it seems like it has two different names. While we know it as the Tabernacle Hill Lava Tubes, Google Maps also has it as the Fillmore Lava Tubes. The good thing is that it doesn't matter which one you put in your GPS because they will both get you here. We have now come to one of our favorite sections, and it's this tube right here. Here you will find dramatic skylights that, depending on which time of day you're visiting, give you a really cool shot. There are actually a few skylights here, and some of these make you wonder how these little thin sections of rock in between can stay suspended in the ceiling like that. I must say that I don't know if I'd want to be down here during an earthquake. There's another really beautiful spot with a skylight at the very end of the tube. And this is pretty much the end of this section. From here on out, the ceiling has collapsed, and you can either turn and go back the same way that you came, or you can climb out like we are going to be in just a second. Climbing out is definitely the more advanced version because, like I said, you don't want to fall on these rocks. The good thing is that these rocks give you a ton of grip, and they seem like they're pretty tough as well. I don't think that they're going to flake off in your hand and send you back down to the bottom. From here, you can either take the easy walk back to the car, or you can walk along the edge of the collapse. Don't go anywhere just yet though, because we still have one more tube to explore. The rocky canyon eventually opens up to this large collapse, and this is the home of the third and final tube that we will be exploring in the video. If you really want to, you can always stay down in the canyon and make your way all the way over to explore it, but we decided that it would be easier to go get the Jeep and drive over. This is the little road that I was talking about earlier when I said that things will be getting a lot bumpier if you head past the hill. We ended up taking that little road all the way to some hot springs and back to the highway, but it was some serious off-road driving. Here we are at the third and final tube section. You definitely want to be careful dropping in here because it is a long and jagged way down. Here you will find another short but very tall tube. There must have been a ton of lava coming through this section when it was flowing. Of the three lava tubes, I would probably say that the other two are on the mandatory list and this one is more optional. but we wanted to see everything that we could, and I'm glad that we came in. This tube has a massive collapse at the end that seems to have started its own ecosystem. A lot of the rocks are covered in a green moss, and if you come at the right time of day, I'm sure you could get some really cool photos here as well. At the back left corner of the cave, there is another small lava tube section. This one requires a decent little bit of rock scrambling to get into, but nothing too strenuous. The funny thing about adventures like this is that V and I both become so stubborn, we always want to see everything. We both know that there's not going to be a pirate's chest full of treasure around the next corner, it's just going to be rocks, but we still have to see it. We were really hoping that this second tube was going to continue on. It does go in quite a ways, but eventually I came to a dead end. It's too bad that it did end there because I'm sure just on the other side of that wall is the Tabernacle crater, which you'll see at the end of the video. I did search the large collapse for any other possible lava tubes, but it appears that this is probably the only one. So with that, we ended up heading towards the exit. Overall, I must say that this is an absolutely incredible spot to visit, and the fact that it's free makes it even that much better. So the next time you're heading through Fillmore, you definitely should stop by for an hour or two. And as promised, we will be closing out this video with a shot of the Tabernacle crater. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, maybe even hit that new hype button. For all the information about the Tabernacle Hill Lava Tubes and other awesome Utah adventures, head on over to 𝐿𝐍𝐅𝐻.com.